Exterminated. Rats? Filthy, disgusting, disease-ridden rats, and I can't tolerate even the thought of them. They have to be gotten rid of, the sooner the better. Top to bottom.
Yes, that is exactly what should be done. But you must give me some time, please, Hammy.
Time for what? Just kill the rats. Do you understand? Kill those rats!
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
Welcome to another exciting episode of The Outsiders. I'm your host, Sean Sims. Now, as you can see, we have a new setup for The Outsiders. I'm figuring, I had to set up outside my office. I got rooms in the house I could use. Maybe I could set it up next to a fireplace. You come in, so you know what? Just set it up in your office. So here we are with the new look, and we're going to have a superstar Doc Cheatham on in just a little bit. We're going to talk about the Ravens draft, another Stark. The Ravens draft is Stark. We'll be covering the Legionnaires bacteria story with the circuit court downtown. Baltimore ranked #1. Here we go again. Dirtiest city in America again. And the new presidential initiative for HBCUs. It looks like Trump wants to pump hundreds of millions and millions and hundreds of millions of dollars into HBCUs, which I am a graduate of, Carlton State. And he wants to pump some money into my alma mater and others in an initiative to improve the HBCUs. So this civil rights movement that Trump is on, the civil rights icon that he may be trying to become, it looks like he's pushing towards that. But first, I want to get to this. And this is related to the circuit court story. First, I have to address some lunacy, some craziness, some untruths, definite deceitfulness, and Colton Douglas. What are you doing? What do you think you're doing? I heard what you had to say. Putting the dirty laundry out. Boy, full disclosure, you mentioned full disclosure. It was anything but. I'm going to straighten things out on all that. First of all, before I play this, Colton Douglas and I have known each other for over 2 decades. Years. His mutual friend and ours, Corrigan Vaughn, actually assisted Corrigan in some of his campaigns as an advisor. And Colton was good friends with my grandfather, Pastor Joseph Brown, Preacher Brown, man of Bible Baptist Church, Grace Memorial Hour, Worldwide Ministry. Corrigan's dad, A.C.D. Vaughn, actually took over for my grandfather when he left Grace Bible Baptist Church and founded his own church. So Colton and my family, myself, we've known each other for quite a while. So for him to go on and just put me out there as if I just fell off a turnip truck, I just dropped into Baltimore out of nowhere, that wasn't copacetic, Carlton. That wasn't good. And then the things that you said after that, I don't even know where that came from.
People should be ashamed of yourself.
Hey, I'm going to go ahead and start it off.
They should be.
Here it is.
Doc, We're going to be listening.
Last week's show.
To Colton Douglas show. I'll put the challenge out to you, Colton. You got my number. I got yours. You can call me anytime, brother. You can call me anytime. But I put the challenge out to you of one host to another host. Are you going to stay on topic about what's going on with the allegations and the federal lawsuit and the allegations of what's going on at the circuit court, discrimination, the rats, the retaliation, etc.? Are you going to do the right thing as a host and ask those questions, tough questions? Now, I don't want to hear anything about no damn parking. I don't want to hear anything about any MDEC, and we'll be dealing with the MDEC too, how that got set up. How somebody's going to be in big trouble because of the fiscal fraud that was perpetrated. They got that set up, okay? I don't want to hear anything about some damn Wi-Fi. I don't want to hear that crap, and people don't want to hear it either. We want to hear the clerk of the court, the so-called elected official, talk about the serious allegations, multiple allegations. Doc, you said 11 women. I thought it was more people than 11 women. But we want to hear that and talk about that. What does he have to say about that? That's the challenge that Sean Sims is putting out to Carlton Douglas, and the other challenge to the other WOLB host, Jason Rodriguez, is...
Forget Jason. Jason's a nothing to nobody. I've dealt with him. We know he has no integrity. He never made the correction when he put out false information on the air. Now, let's get back to Colton. Colton, I want to play this because you had a lot to say. And I'm going to critique what you had to say. Full disclosure, you wouldn't know full disclosure if it fell on you from the sky. You need to look up what that means. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and play that so people can hear for themselves. Cut 2.
Conway, who is the current clerk of the courts for Baltimore City, on today. I wanted him in the studio. He could not do that, but he will definitely be here next Friday, here in the studio. There have been, we're going to talk about the court system.
In the studio, what difference does it make? In the studio, in Australia, in Europe, in Asia, the information is a call. Why do you need to have him in studio? But you know, that's your show. You do things the way you want. He has to be in studio, and he promised me, oh yes, Xavier is going to be on my show. This is past Friday. Let me look at the calendar. The 25th? Past Friday the 25th. Oh yeah, he's going to be on. Doesn't show up. The reason why I believe he doesn't show up because there's investigations going on. There was another investigation going on, and some pertinent information got out in this investigation. And I believe Xavier chickened out. The yellow streak down his back, a mile long, showed up, and he chickened out. That's what I believe happened. Something happened. Anyway, now he's supposed to have grown a pair, and he's going to show up this Friday. What is it? The 2nd. We shall see. And we'll see if you protect him as well. Now let's get to the rest of what Carlton. You should be ashamed of yourself. Let's go ahead and listen.
Standing now, improvements that he may have made or is having problems.
Yeah, here we go. Improvement.
We're parking, Wi-Fi. We've got Wi-Fi now, parking. I've done so much Wi-Fi parking.
And the people who work there hate his guts. But let's go on.
And then there's been some allegations against Mr. Conway by certain individuals.
Stop. After this, I'm going to show you all something. Then I'm going to call Doc and we're going to finish this. But certain allegations, he's had, let me show you all, complaints filed against him. See all this? You see all these? These are complaints Each one a separate complaint. Each one a separate complaint. You see here. Filed against Xavier Conway. Okay. By one person who was brave and strong enough and had the guts to stand up to people, abusive people, to stand up to punks, to stand up for her rights. The other employees are too scared. Ooh, I'm scared. Ooh, I'm scared. She wasn't. I'm talking about Teresa Sims, my wife. She had the gut. Maybe it's because she's from Brooklyn and they don't take crap. But she stood up for her rights, her civil rights. And I'm going to go over quickly, and then we're going to give Doc a call. Some of these complaints, sexual harassment complaint he's involved with, Xavier Conway, hostile work environment, retaliation. This is October 25th, 2023, February 9th, 2024, September the 22nd, 2023. Same thing over and over again, because she's a female. I guess the gender. Harassment, retaliation, hostile work environment. This goes on and on. One after April 13th, 2023, same thing. Retaliation, sex discrimination, over and over again, sex discrimination, bullying, intimidation. This one after another, because each time he attacked in Colton, that's called an attack. I challenged you. It wasn't an attack. It was just a challenge for you to be a professional and ask some pertinent questions and not a bunch of softball cupcake questions to Xavier or to block calls from coming in about the circuit court, which is what you did last week, coward. And you got more. Hostile work environment, retaliation, October 24th, 2024. Or April 24th, I should say. April 4th, 2024. Just goes on and on and on, as you can see. The other employees, they have similar stories, but they don't have the tenacity and to stand up and for their rights and to do what my wife did, and that is stand up for her rights after she engaged in multiple protected activities to protect herself and stand up for her rights. So I'm going to call Doc now, because he's waiting. Superstar Doc Cheatham. Give him a call so we can go over all this. Carlton, you should be ashamed. You're a deacon in a church. If my grandfather was alive, he would call you up and he would give you what for. He would messing with it, you siding with the people who are attacking his granddaughter, or I should say granddaughter-in-law. Pastor Brown was alive, he would take you to task, just like he did Frank Reed. And I was there when he did it. Frank Reed, oh my goodness, he tore him another one. And that's what he would have done to you, Colton, and you know it. So let me go ahead, call Doc. Ring, a ring, a ring, a ring, a ring. Okay. Superstar Doc Cheatham. Calling Superstar Doc Cheatham. Hey, Doc.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, we're recording now the podcast. I got Doc on the podcast, and I'm going over what was said last week. We're going to start with Colton and talk about the HBCU situation and Baltimore being ranked #1 again in the dirtiest city. And your good friend Jeff Abel did that story. So, and you were involved in that interview as well. So I'm going to go ahead and finish playing this because Colton had a lot to say, but I have to make sure that people get the straight truth, to get the rest of the story. Okay, let me go ahead and hit it.
And I'm here this morning to state something unequivocally.
Get it out.
First of all, I have known the Conway family for over 40 years.
Stop. Now, let me say this, because I just told our audience that Carlton Douglas has known me, and we've been cool friends for over 2 decades. I wouldn't say quite 30 years, but it was over 2 decades. And he was friends with my grandfather for quite a while. quite a while. I believe it may have been 40 plus years. And I told him, I said, if my grandfather was alive and you are siding with the Conways and they're attacking his granddaughter or his granddaughter-in-law, my grandfather would have laid Colton out. He would have laid Colton out, and he would have laid the Conways out. So I'm going to go ahead and continue this because I want to get the record straight and let everyone know I've known Colton a long time. So let's go on. Now, this is where I'm going to jump in and give my opinion. I don't believe that. I don't believe what he just said for 1 second, cotton picking second, because I set up the meeting with Bishop Barry Chapman, myself, and Colton. Bishop Barry Chapman and Colton Douglas were trying to get together to have a meeting so that Bishop could meet with Xavier because of all the employees that were running the Bishop and him being their labor representative because of the malfeasance that was handed out to them by Xavier Conway. So they, for whatever reason, they couldn't get the meeting together. I brokered the meeting. So I was there at the meeting. So let's go on. Now let me stop there. Full disclosure. See, I know what full disclosure is, Colton, and I'm giving it. During the meeting, and I could not understand it, and everyone who's hearing this who knows the people involved, like Bishop Barry Chapman, you can ask him. For whatever reason, Colton decided to start bad-mouthing some guy named Darren Muhammad during our meeting. And I'm sitting there thinking, Doc, why is he bringing up this guy? We're trying to get, I'm trying to assist in brokering a meeting with Xavier and Bishop and Colton so that this kid who's run amok, he's like a crazy person. He's throwing temper tantrums. You should hear the stuff that gets back to me. He's retaliating, discriminating. I just went over all the complaints filed by my wife, and that doesn't include a federal lawsuit, which is getting ready to go into litigation. So I'm trying to figure out, Doc, why is he bringing up Darren Muhammad during our meeting? So he says this, and like, you know what, Colton, I gotta say something. Man. You're full of it. You talking about you don't badmouth people or you don't get into pissing matches, whatever. And you just brought this guy up out of nowhere, and Bishop and I are looking at each other like, what is he talking about, huh? Let me go on.
When it comes to the listening show, most of my day I listen to Urban View.
Okay, that's good for you.
That's where you're going to get the real deal of what's happening with black folk in this country. And that's what my concern is. What's happening to us. I know just about everybody in the city that's black, that has a talk show, and I wish all of them well. Whether it be on radio that you can listen on AM, FM, whatever M you might want to hear, or if they are into the podcast thing. Now I'm not. I don't listen to I don't even know how to get a podcast. Okay? I've had several individuals try to talk me into doing a podcast. I'm not a podcast person. I don't know that much about podcasts, so that is not my agenda at this time. My agenda is to be on my Wednesday show on another station from 1 to 2. And I've been on that station for about 12 years. And I've been here with Radio 1, starting out with Frank, when station. So I don't try to get any part. I used to, when Dave Johnson was on here, I used to listen to them fervently. I have been on Darren Mahaffey's show, and I have listened to his show whenever I can. I don't always agree, but that's their opinions. And I'm not getting on my show hollering about what they said on their show or what I thought about their show. Not going there. Okay? Now, if I listen to the show, if I listen to your show and you come at me, then I have an obligation, in my opinion, to answer your ass. Someone sent me a copy of a podcast the other day in which I was attacked because
No, that was not an attack. That was a challenge. I just played the clip of the challenge. So Colton was challenged to have an interview with Xavier Conway where he wasn't going to give cupcake questions and softball questions. And he needs to look up the definition. You need a lexicon, you need a thesaurus, you need a dictionary, Carlton Douglas, because that's a challenge. It's not an attack. I didn't attack you. I didn't attack you personally. There was no attack whatsoever. So you're thin-skinned. You would think after 70 plus years on this earth you'd have thicker skin. So you're thin-skinned and your mouth is getting you in trouble because people are going to find out that what you were saying isn't how things really happen. Doc, do you believe that I attacked Colton last show that we did? I was attacking him.
I would say, I would know you well enough to say that I don't think it was an attack. Yes, I do not think it was an attack. But I think depending upon how folks, feathers get ruffled as to how they perceive people having constructive criticisms or comments about what they say or do. And I'm saying this, I said it to Carlton, I said it to Howard Major, I'm saying this to you as well. I'm willing to pull all of us dealing with this one particular issue that is, I think has gotten a little out of touch with what we're really trying to do. We're really trying to deal with the challenges coming out of the clerk's office and the concerns that we have with reference to the head of the clerk's office. But what I would offer, to Colton, I offered to Howard, I offered it to you, Sean, if we can't move on, I'm willing to bring all of us together in the closed door, have some nice diet and regular soda there, and agree to disagree. I'm not expecting us to agree on stuff, but I am expecting us to say we got far more important issues than to have to battle with each other.
Doc, here's the thing. Okay, I heard the interview, and I can play all of it, but I'm not going to play all of it, what Colton said last week. I mean, he made statements that were not true. I never cursed him. I never used the word hell in my phone call to him. He said that I used the word hell, I'll do whatever the hell I want. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't curse like that with Colton. So I don't understand why he said that, and I don't understand why he didn't let people know about his relationship with myself and my family. Carlton Douglas, in 2008, buried my brother. He did the funeral service. He did a excellent job with the funeral services. I'm going to give him his kudos. So we had a pretty good relationship. So for me to challenge him, it was just a professional thing, one professional to another. I understand that you're the advisors of the Conways. You told me that you're the advisors to the Conways. You told me that. You told me that you went to the Conways went to you, and Bishop Barry Chapman can back up everything I'm saying, and they went to you. The first person they went to when they decided or they're thinking about running Xavier Washington. Now I'm thinking to myself, as an advisor, did you advise for him to change his name? I don't know. Also, when we were at the meeting, I told you, hey, they need to back off of my wife. After the meeting, Carlton, literally days after I met with you, the Conways fired my wife. Xavier Conway, I believe Belinda was involved too. She's running the thing. And then he fired my wife just days after I met with you, and you're their advisor. So did you go back to them and advise that they terminate my wife? See, I don't know these questions, Carlton. I don't know. But the way you are connected to them and the dirty that they have done, they have a history of it, it doesn't look good. But Doc, to answer your question, I'll tell you this. I don't have any problem, even after all the issues I have with Colton that have come up with his connection with the Conways, I'll meet with them anytime, any place, anywhere. I don't have an issue with that. But I did hear that Colton had an issue with it last week.
Well, I would say this, that when you deal with family, things can get more touchier than you would have with other folks in general. I don't mind telling folks, I had to go on Frank Conway Sr.'s show and inform him that I believe his son is the one that's been tearing down my campaign signs. I had a good relationship with Frank.
Mm-hmm.
I did not have a relationship with his son other than him possibly hiring another individual. We won't name his name, but God rest his soul because he's no longer with us. And I'm not unhappy that he's not with us because he was the one that financed the taking down of my campaign signs.
Wow.
But, when we deal with family and stuff, it can get very, very touchy. I had a very good relationship with Frank, but I had an awful relationship with this daughter who keeps saying, and I think she's saying it even to the day, she lives across the street from the Hamlin Park, and she don't see the 50 trucks that leave from across the street from her and bring dirt to my neighborhood. She acts like she don't know what's going on. I can't believe that.
Wow.
I don't think the sister's lying, but I can't believe that you live directly across the street at Liberty Heights and Hilton, and you don't see the trucks that are coming and going directly across the street.
Of course you see the trucks. You live right across the street, so there's no excuse for that. This is my point that I want to make to the people of Baltimore City. Baltimore City is a go along, get along city. You got a lot of people who are interconnected through relationships and family. I just found out with my wife's sister's husband, my brother-in-law. And I want to say condolences too. I want to send out condolences to the Williamson family on the passing of their mother, my brother-in-law, Tony Williamson, Adrian, his brother, and Alonzo, his brother. And I want to give condolences out to them. But I found out that Chew Smith is his cousin, and I'm like, wait a minute, if Chew Smith is your cousin, then that makes him my cousin. So my cousin Karen Bullock is working for Chew Smith. Now I'm finding this out, at a funeral. Then I'm finding out a longtime friend of mine I worked with at Household Finance years ago, and he played basketball at Cardinal Gibbons with my cousin Barry Brown. I find out that he's my brother-in-law's cousin. I'm like, wait a minute. So wait a second. So I guess we're family. So what I'm saying is that Baltimore is a lot of interconnections with friends, families, relations, and so on. And this, you have to call out. You have to call out. It may hurt. People don't like it. But just get along, go along, get along, city. If people are doing the dirty, even if you're connected and you know them, and family or friends and so on, you gotta call them out. You can't let somebody go on the air, make a false statement, you know they did, and then not call them out.
I totally agree with you.
That's all I'm saying.
I tell folks the sad thing, we got folks, and you said it earlier, folks go along to get along in Baltimore City. And I know at least 50 people that are guilty. You know, I know of at least 30 people know that Antonio Hayes lied about my community not voting and supporting a skateboard park. And all of these, I'm talking about Antonio Hayes, I call names. And, you know, all of these folks are friends of Antonio Hayes. I said, well, that lets me know, you know, what you're really all about. You
exactly.
Know, going along to get along. I said, if you know that somebody is lying, why don't you go to him and be man or woman and discuss that with him? Why is he lying to people and affecting black children? So, you know, we got to be careful with Baltimore City. It's a small city. A lot of people know each other. A lot of people. Perhaps they're going to get along, and they will pull you down at any minute to themselves.
Exactly. This is what I want to do. Speaking of the dirt situation, I'm going to go ahead and play that story. This is Jeff Abel, Fox News, regarding Baltimore City, and here we go again. No, let's see. No. I'm playing that next. This is what I want to do first. I want to talk about the Legionnaires situation. I'm going to play this story, Doc. You brought it up as well during the show, WOLB show. You brought this up. Well, I'm going to go ahead and play this clip about the Legionnaires and what happened at the circuit court and information I just received last week.
But at the end of the day, people really shouldn't be working in these buildings, so it's a problem.
Concerns mounting over possible Legionella-contaminated water in Baltimore buildings owned and operated by public entities.
They've got to get a handle on infrastructure in the city and in the state to avoid a major health crisis.
Today, Circuit Court Clerk Xavier Conway demanded that the...
Stop. Now, this is where I'm going to stop. Now, here we go again. You got to call it out. I found out from an extremely reliable source this person works at the circuit court of Baltimore City. And I was told that allegedly there was a black female who contracted Legionnaires bacteria, Legionnaires disease, contracted it prior. Now this is important, people. And I wonder if anybody's going to ask this question to Xavier. I'm pretty sure Carlton won't. Prior to him running out to WBAL, trying to look like a hero. Oh, I want to make sure there's testing going on because of what happened at the other building, so I'm being proactive. Allegedly, that's not how it went down, people. A black female came up and, as a matter of fact, contracted Legionnaires, and as a matter of fact, the Legionnaires did not get, and thank God, God was protecting her and looking out for her. It did not get to her lungs, but it got in her system. And the clerk found out about it, allegedly, and kept it quiet and tried to make himself look like a hero. See, this is the type of stuff, the deception and deceit that I'm talking about, Doc.
Legionnaires disease is scary. At least during my lifetime, it's been scary because, you know, we were going to conventions at a point in time, a number of us, going to the same conventions, and, you know, we would normally have a regular discussion about what's happening with other conventions and them contracting Legionnaires disease at conventions. So I don't play with stuff like Legionnaires disease. And I really think we need to pull in and we need to request, and I'm hoping maybe Bishop will do it, that he will request a statement coming from the Baltimore City Health Department. We got to stop playing pussyfoot with these agencies that represent people. We need to ask them the hard questions. And if the health department will not answer the question, did someone contract Legionnaires disease, or did we have an incident that was reported? If the health department will not respond, then we need to attack the health department. But we need to stop pussyfooting with individuals and organizations, you know, that have a responsibility to protect our health and our welfare. the members of the city council. All of y'all are guilty. You're guilty if you're in office and you're not seeing and trying to expel all of these problems that we have with BPW, the clerk's office, the Department of Government Services. If you're not doing anything, which most of y'all are not, y'all are guilty.
They are. And
guilty.
Let me continue the story so people get the full story with this Legionnaires.
City conduct proactive water testing at 3 buildings downtown. The Mitchell Courthouse, the Cummings Courthouse.
Yeah, the Mitchell Courthouse building, which is infested with rats. And talk about going down to a building. You got Legionnaires, you got rats, you got asbestos, you got lead in the walls. On top of that, you got filthy, dirty carpets. You got netting that was down probably for years after they put it up. So you got bird poop, excrement in the ventilation system, hasn't been cleaned, and the Maryland Occupational Safety and Health Administration was told all of this and did not send anybody down there because they don't care about black folks. See, this is what I'm getting. They don't care.
Here's my response. Now, I know we're going to have some people listening to this show, and this is a challenge I'm putting out to you folks to work for the clerk's office. Damn it, stop being so afraid to do something.
Exactly.
You had an opportunity on your day off or your day to be on lunch. You had the opportunity to picket the building and mention the health issues.
And file complaints. And file complaints. They're scared.
Folks are doing a dirty thing. There's no reason why Sean's wife had to be the guinea pig to actually have something done directly to her, and then y'all not doing anything. I have not heard one thing from one person that works for the clerk's office about this. Not one. And I'm saying, what the hell sense of us trying to help y'all if you're not going to help yourselves?
Not one thing at all. And another thing, I'm going to get off of it, but I have to say this because it's important. Colton Douglas never, Doc, you did, Mary did, Dr. Louise Johnson did, several other people did, her family members did. Called us, find out how she was doing after she was terminated from a job she's been working at for almost 18 years. And people called, but guess who didn't? Colton Douglas. Colton Douglas never said, hey, how's she doing? How are things? And as a matter of fact, at our meeting, he never asked me. He never asked me after she knew she had a 10-day suspension, and she hadn't been fired yet. She got fired after I met with Carlton several days later. Wink, wink. But after that, never said a word, didn't care. I don't, see, being a married man, Doc, you were married, Carlton's married, I'm a married man. You men out there, you black men out there, I'm talking to you specifically. You have wives. What would you do if you were in my shoes and you knew all this stuff was going on, that your wife was being attacked over and over and over and over and over and over again? What would you do?
I take a week off of vacation and I picket the building and the individuals that I feel are guilty. I take a week off and on my vacation, I picket them Monday through Friday. You got to be serious.
You got to do something.
I'm coming at you because sooner or later, folks, it's going to hit you. And then we're going to look around and say, well, why didn't you say something when it was happening to you?
Exactly. That's the thing. But let me go ahead and continue this, and then we're going to get to that ranking.
And the juvenile justice complex. As of last week, a total of 6 buildings owned and operated by the State Department of General Services had Legionella detected in the water supply. Officials tell 11 News 4 buildings in the State Center complex, plus 2 district courthouses, Wabash and Patapsco. Tonight, state officials say the water at 300 West Preston.
Now, I'm going to stop there and I'm going to finish this. Now, those buildings, the people weren't working there. Once they discovered the Legionnaire bacteria in those buildings, they weren't working there. Did Xavier Conway pull his state employees out of that building, out of the Mitchell Courthouse and the Cummings building and juvenile justice? Did he pull those employees out like the other folks did? No, he did not. He kept them in the building and he kept them working. Is that going to come up Friday? Because it's going to be on Friday. May the 2nd is going to be supposedly again. We're going to try again with this interview with Xavier Conway. Is anybody going to bring that out, that he left them in the building? And did he have them and request his employees to take a Legionnaire bacteria test after it was discovered in the water? No. No, he did not. So these are serious things.
You have to take with Legionnaire disease. When there is any suspicion that something has transpired, you normally wholesale it and you ask everyone to take a test, because Legionnaire disease will take you away from here.
He did not do that, Doc. He did not request his employees to take a test for Legionnaire's bacteria in their system, and allegedly a black female, prior to him going to the news, WBAL, prior to December the 9th, had contracted Legionnaires, and he knew all about it. This has to be called out.
We got 2 days to hurry through the grapevine and tell folks we need all.
Yeah, we need y'all to call in. Yeah, we need people to call in.
We're not asking you to call and tell lies, but we ask you to tell the truth and do it, damn it. Do something.
Do something. You know, all this is going on. I've got some folks, Doc, it's good news. I do have some employees who are going to be putting together letters about what's going on.
I'm not going to hold my breath.
No, actually I do. I do have a couple of people. Okay, well, Doc, y'all heard that. Doc, he's doubting me I'm even going to get anything from you people. He's doubting I'm even going to get anything.
Huh? I'm just just like you. These folks in the last year and a half haven't done a damn.
They haven't done anything. Nothing. You haven't. They haven't done nothing.
Y'all at least rally around her. At least.
No, they haven't. They've been quiet mice, or I should say quiet mice working around a bunch of rats. Now, let's get to the next item, because I got to talk about this. I went over this last year, and I really gave them what for. James Torrance, okay, Pigpen, because he's the dirtiest district in the dirtiest city last year. And here we go again. Baltimore found the dirtiest city.
He may not have the dirtiest district.
Well, he did last year.
Now, senatorial district is one thing, but council district, my understanding is 212 is the dirtiest. And 21217 is a half a foot right.
Okay, let me go ahead and play the story. Okay, here we go.
A new survey from House Fresh ranks Baltimore as the dirtiest city in America, citing more 311 complaints per capita than anywhere else in the country. Fox 45 Jeff Abel joins us live with those findings and how residents say the city can try to clean up its act. Jeff.
You know, when it comes to sanitation complaints, researchers tell us that Baltimore far outpaces other cities like New York, Los Angeles, and Chicago, earning it the title dirtiest city in America. In a back alley near Bentaloo and Baker,
there's a lot of trash back there.
The trash piles up faster than anyone can remove it.
The city comes out, they will clean it up, but it's back a mess.
In this community, there's little surprise about Baltimore's most recent distinction, the dirtiest city in America. You believe this, that Baltimore's the dirtiest city in America?
Yes, it is.
How and why you say that?
Because it is.
Because it is.
Comes after researchers with the online publication House Fresh analyze millions of 311 complaints that come into cities each year and discovered that Baltimore had thousands more sanitation complaints than any other city in the country. Sacramento was a distant second.
We own it. You know, without a doubt, you can look and see the dirt that's here.
Doc Cheatham, who leads Baltimore's largest community, says he's logged thousands of sanitation complaints.
We average about 100 calls a month. Right here.
Yeah.
That's a dump site.
But But by the time the city responds, violators are long gone.
The people who are coming to give out the tickets, they don't come often enough, and they don't come quickly enough.
Already there's concern that the country's dirtiest city could become even dirtier. If the mayor's proposed budget passes, the tipping fee charged at the city's landfill will double.
It's going to make it much worse.
Wow.
Residents fear the higher landfill fees will simply encourage more illegal dumping, leaving some communities in an even dirtier predicament, one that could take a while to clean up.
The trash need to be up. That's it.
Well, according to the study, Baltimore is home to 6 of the dirtiest zip codes in the country, the dirtiest being 21213.
There you go. The dirtiest zip code is 21213. Wow.
13. I don't know why I keep thinking 223, 21213, but zip code 17 ain't far behind.
So you have, you got Baltimore with Mayor Brandon Scott, who is a national embarrassment. This guy is a mayor, he's a clown. You got this guy's, then he wants to add double the dumping fee to put trash away and dump it. So people are not going to pay double the fee. So it looks like to me the mayor wants Baltimore to be filthy and trashy and dirty. That's what he wants.
Well, I'm happy to say, Sean, about 10 days ago, Matthew Henson, Community Development Corporation, we are the largest community in Baltimore City with 36,563 residents. We issued a document and we listed 10 recommendations that we put on Facebook. We'd be happy to put it back on Facebook again. Maybe the mayor and his people will have the chutzpah to read what we are recommending. But we have 10 recommendations on how they can improve the sanitation situation here in Baltimore City. You know, we're not a community that just wants to complain. We try to do as much as we can. We look at the issues, we look at the shortcomings. We have 10 viable recommendations that we think can help significantly, provided we have folks at DPW and elected who sit and listen. Just because my community, we're the largest in Baltimore City, just because we make recommendations, don't throw it out. We make the recommendations because we have experience in this area. We are basically, sadly enough, we're being confronted with this on a daily basis. So we have some understanding of what improvements need to be made, and we're making some recommendations, 10 on Facebook, recommendations on the dirtiest city in Baltimore, how we can tackle it.
Well, I know what you're doing, Doc. It is the right thing to do, but the problem is, this is what I believe, this is my opinion, that Brandon Scott could give a rat's, no pun intended, about Baltimore City's population, that his focus is on money, 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 money. That's his focus. Look at the BGE backstabbing. Why would you people put in a Benedict Arnold to the city and then vote him back in? That's insane. That's insanity. So he could care less about the city. He's got other problems of his own that he's dealing with the Safe Street situation and the FBI. I'm not going to say any more about that, but let's put it this way. A little birdie told me that Brandon's in hot water. So he's got other issues he's dealing with, and he could care less about the people of Baltimore City. And the word that I got, allegedly, from a very close person of Brandon Scott, is that he doesn't care about black folks.
Time we got left on the show, but you educated me to an issue that I had heard through and read it, and I set it aside. But you brought to my attention the issue dealing with the President of the United States, historically black colleges and universities. And I have a request I would like to make, because very much interested. I spent at least 45 years dealing with HBCUs and the financial mistreatment of the 4 HBCUs in Maryland. So I like to ask what I call this is 7. I got 7 people who I communicate with in some way honestly that I think very honest Republicans, and I would like to ask to reach out to the President of the United States and maybe Dr. Earl Richardson, who was involved in the class action lawsuit that we won. And then here's the names: Sean, University, Devani, Chris, and Mr. Snow. I would like to see if we can get those at least 7, if not 3 or 4 more of the vocal Republicans. And I would like to have us meet with some of the HBCU folks that were involved in the class action lawsuit that we won, and let's have a discussion about what we might be on the table through our Republican friends to have the President of the United States consider, since he does have a printed document indicating what he's going to do with HBCUs. And from what I'm reading, it looks commendable.
Well,
whether it's false promises or not, I don't know. But what I have read, I am impressed by it. And if I can help in any way in the state of Maryland, myself and Dr. Earl Richardson and maybe a couple others, I'd like to sit down with you 7 Republicans, if not more, and see what we can send to the President of the United States to help our HBCUs.
Doc, I agree wholeheartedly with that. I think that should be done because that segues perfect into my next. I'm going to finish out with this, and I'll probably touch on the Ravens draft, but let's go to the story. I'm going to go ahead and cue it up regarding Trump, President Trump, and his initiative to improve HBCUs. Cut 5.
He signed an executive specifically for HBCU. The White House initiative to promote excellence and innovation at historically Black colleges and universities. I think that's a great idea. So it says, purpose. Historically Black colleges and universities, HBCUs, remain integral to American students' pursuit of prosperity and well-being, providing a pathway to a career and better life. This order will continue the work begun during my first administration to elevate the value and impact of our nation's HBCUs as beacons of educational excellence and economic opportunity that serve as some of the best cultivators of tomorrow's leaders in business, government, academia, and military. Now, it's a whole list of things here. And I must say that I am really impressed, and I agree. Can I just go straight to what stuck out the most for me?
Go ahead, please.
So, White House initiatives on HBCUs. There is hereby established the White House initiatives on historical Black colleges and universities, House and Executive Office of the President, and led by the Executive Director designated by the President. So here's the list of executives. For me, well, all of them I agree with, but more particularly, B, upgrading institutional infrastructure, including the use of technology to ensure long-term visibility of these institutions, right? Because a lot of HBCUs need better infrastructure and they need better advanced technology, especially when we're talking about broadband. Fostering private sector initiatives and public-private and philanthropic partnerships to promote centers of academic research and program excellence at HBCU. And the next one for me is G, partnering with private entities and elementary and secondary education stakeholders to build a pipeline for students that may be interested in attending HBCUs and promote affordable degree attainment.
And there's many more. I read it, Doc. I read the whole thing. And
I have about documents. They have about 5 and 6 pages each, spelling out everything that he has indicated. And I'm saying, folks, say I'm excited about it yet because it's just a paper document so far, but the possibilities are enormous.
They are.
And I'm saying, I'm asking Sean and maybe 6 or 7 or 8 or more friends of the Republican Party, let myself and a few other folks that dealt with the HBCU case here, which is the largest HBCU class action lawsuit that was successful in recent years. And I'm asking us within the month of May, hopefully not later than May, that we could sit down in a private room and discuss some recommendations that we can make to the President of the United States coming from the state of Maryland. We have 4 HBCUs. We have Bowie, we have Carlton, we have Morgan, and we have University of Maryland Eastern Shore. Those are our 4 HBCUs. And I'm asking our Republican talk show hosts and podcast hosts to meet with me and maybe Dr. Earl Richardson and a couple others, and let's discuss what we could possibly recommend coming from Maryland, President of the United States, concerning HBCU.
I'm in full agreement, Doc. As you know, both of us are alumnus of Coppin State University College, and I graduated with a management science degree, and I would love to, and the fact that you're including me in that bunch, I would love to be a part of that panel. Yeah, you did. I would love to be. I'm on board. Let me know, and I'll be there. Give my 2 cents.
You have better contact with them than I do. I listed the names of folks that I do have communications with periodically, but they are at least you and 7 other people that I mentioned. You know, they do know me, I do know them, and I think the best thing that we can do is to, as soon as we can, sit down and meet, and maybe we can do this all on your next podcast. We can talk about this HBCU issue. Folks, I am very interested in what President Trump has put on the table concerning HBCUs. And I would not be a good HBCU lifetime alumnus of Coppin if I didn't say or try to do something to promote it.
Well, Doc, count me in. You know me. I'm ready. When there's something that's worthwhile, you can count me in. And it looks like from the numbers they're talking as far as dollars, because I'm a numbers guy, they're looking close to $500 million going to HBCUs. That is a big chunk of money.
Yes, we got the DEE, IAE, whatever all those initials are. We have some real serious civil rights issues that are before us. But this is a document that has been printed. There are at least 5 different copies of it that are on the internet coming from the President of the United States. And it behooves us. It behooves us to not only investigate it, but do something about it. And so I'm asking any Republican that's listening, help join me and Sean and some others. Let's meet as quickly as we can to see if we can bring forth some recommendations to the President of what we would like to see possibly considered for the 4 HBCUs that we have in Maryland.
Well, I agree. Let's do something positive for the state. Governor Bob Ehrlich, he had a panel put together. My good friend Dwight Pettit was on that panel, and while all this was taking place, Dwight told me, he said, Sean, because Dwight graduated from Howard, he said, man, Bob, he's putting together a good plan. There's a lot of money that's going to be going to the HBCUs. O'Malley didn't do jack for HBCUs. Westmore hasn't done jack for HBCUs. So it looks like the Republicans are taking it upon themselves to get a lot of money to HBCUs, so we can get some of those funds to Maryland, a chunk of those funds to the Maryland HBCUs, Doc. That would be fantastic.
Maybe people listening and hearing the podcast can help us recruit, but the names, of course, are Sean Sims, Kimberly Clasic, Ripsy Morgan, Jalika Bazemore, Devonnie Patterson, Chris Anderson, and I keep forgetting Mr. Snow's name, I have a whole lot of friends with the last name Snow. He comes on, I think it's BAL.
John Snow.
After PJ. But these are Republicans that I think have a relationship, or at least a connection with the President of the United States and his staff. And I'm asking us to meet within the next maybe 1 or 2 weeks to sit down and discuss what can we recommend as Marylanders to the President to be considered dealing with HBCUs.
Well, what I'll do is I'll reach out to everyone who's on my list. I'll reach out to them. I have been reaching out to Chris Anderson. Haven't heard. Chris, I don't know what's going on, Chris. I reached out to you. He disappeared. He poof. Gone. Poof. No, nothing back. No emails, no text messages back, no returned phone calls. So I am calling you out, Chris. I haven't heard from you since our last meeting months ago at Hoover Memorial. Doc was there.
In fact, I don't mind saying this, Sean. I extend, as we did last year, we had a very large gathering here at our park and playground in the 1500 block of McKean that was hosted by Black Republicans in the state of Maryland. And I'm looking forward to them coming back again. I'm not worried about the D's and the R's and the G's and whatever. I throw all of that aside. I'm worried about the issues that will better my people. And this HBCU documents that have been coming out of the President's office is very exciting, very interesting. I'm not counting my chickens before they hatch. But folks, we need to investigate. We need to stop sitting back talking about every damn thing, and we need to do something.
Do something.
Do something. The song used to say.
Good. Doc, we're gonna stick on that, and I'm gonna reach out to some of those folks on that. Actually, most of those folks on that list, I'm gonna reach out to, and we're gonna see if I can coordinate this meeting with your assistance, because I think that's a great idea.
I'll host it at my park, and I'll pay for the lunch for everybody.
I think it's a great idea, and
that includes the case of soda I owe you that the President got elected.
yeah, I did win that wager, but
you did win it.
But
I drank the soda because we didn't meet, so I drank that whole case of soda.
So I want to segue into speaking about a draft, because you drafted a team, and the Ravens did a draft too. So let me go ahead and play that clip, and we'll talk about the Ravens draft, and then we'll finish out.
Starks didn't have a great year, but he was a heck of a football player throughout his career. I really like the football IQ here. With
the 27th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Baltimore Ravens select Malaki Starks, defensive back, Georgia.
Yes.
There it is, terrific safety. Grew up in Jefferson, Georgia, about a half hour from Athens. Was a 5-star. Became the Bulldogs starting free safety. Led the team in defensive snaps as a freshman on a national championship team. Finished with 6 interceptions.
He's a champion. I like the champions.
4.50 now. So Nick Emanwari, 4.38, kind of pales in comparison. But Emanwari had a 43 vertical. Malaki Starks had a 33 vertical. But football IQ goes and being able to tackle in all areas of.
Okay, what do you think of our draft pick, Malaki Starks?
I'm someone that's been dealing with football since there was no Super Bowl. I go way back. I'm not excited about drafts. Folks, don't get so excited about drafts. There was about 200, 300 guys that get drafted. But guess what? Only 30% of the people get drafted get placed on a team. Only 30%. I don't get all excited about who they drafted. I do know that the number one draft that they picked has great potential, but they ain't going to say he's going to be able to do it. 30% of people get drafted during the draft, which we had last week, do not make the teams.
Well, I think this guy is going to, Doc, I'm going to go out on a limb. Just a little bit, not too much. Not too much, but from what I've been getting back into play and playing with the championship with Georgia Bulldogs and his potential, growth potential and his football IQ. That's real important. This kid has a high football IQ. And I think that he has the potential of being a great Raven. Now that's just me, from what I'm seeing. And they picked him number 1 in the draft. That's their first pick. So we'll see what happens. It looks like he's going to fit in. We need a really good free safety. A good free safety out there to, when those bombs start going out, to pick them off and to make good tackles.
The Ravens picks were good. The Ravens picks were good, but again, folks, don't sell their house on 30%. 30% will not. They will not get picked by a team. But you know, we have great possibilities, and I see something more. And all I'm hearing is a lot of people coming forward against our place kicker. I'm glad we picked up a draft for a place kicker, but I ain't all that excited about it either, because we actually had the best place kicker. He's just got some baggage that we got to be kind of worried about.
Yeah, you know, massage parlor baggage. It's not violence. It's not, you know, running people over with cars like we drafted this guy. Well, we brought this guy over from Pittsburgh and ran somebody over with a car and killed him. So it's not that. It's there's some massage issues that he had. But we'll see. Justin Tucker. Justin Tucker is the best kicker in NFL history. So if we can get through this with Justin, he gets his mind right. And I told my wife, I'm like, something's going on with him. It's got to be his wife. He's having marital issues or something. Something's going on, because his kicking was abysmal, and he's the best kicker ever. So now we know. Hopefully that'll get cleared up and we can move on. But Doc, we're going to end with this. We're going to call for a panel of Republican media folk to get together, and we can brainstorm. And the bottom line is, see how we can assist these HBCUs in getting a chunk of that $500 million going out to HBCUs, to our HBCUs.
I want to be a little prejudicial, and I might be wrong with this one, so correct me if you think I am wrong, because I'm not always right. I'm probably...
Neither am I.
Let's put it this way. Let's worry about the state of Maryland if we could. I think all of us are here doing shows, doing business, working in the state of Maryland. So I would like to ask us to be a little prejudicial, that we look out and identify the 4 colleges, Bowie, Carlton, Morgan, UMES, that we try to come up with some recommendations that will impact on a positive level those 4 schools. But I ask that we don't wait till the summer to do it. Let's do it within the month of May as quickly as we can. And I have a good relationship with many Republicans, many Green Party people. Maybe once we discuss it, we'll discuss it with the Green Party, and maybe these sorry-ass black Democrats, we might discuss it with them later. I have no problem with the black Democrats are an embarrassment in the state of Maryland.
It's been embarrassing, the high taxes and the crime, and the mayor, the governor. They got a campaign out, no more. Please get rid of this. He's nothing but a used car salesman. I saw right through him from the beginning, smiling and grinning.
We're gonna have to attack more in the next month or 2, because he promised 2.5 months ago he would help us bring a food market back to 21217 USU Route 1, Monroe Street, and all we've got is a whole lot of verbiage, people coming to look, but they haven't done a damn thing. Governor Moore, many of us supported you, including myself, and we're saying, leave nobody behind. But right now, you're leaving a whole lot of black people behind when it comes to the food desert issue.
Well, I have to say I called it right with Westmore. I was pinpoint accurate. I was like a Kenny Stabler threading a needle to Cliff Branch. Okay, it was pinpoint.
You know about Kenny Stabler.
Yeah, Kenny the Snake Stabler was one of my favorite all-time quarterbacks, period.
That's
So,
right. He was with the Raiders.
And he would thread that needle and hit Branch or Bolitnikoff right on a button. Dave Casper too. So I called it. I called it pinpoint accurate that Westmore was no good. He's a used car salesman. He smiles, he shucks, he jives. When he lied and said that he was from Baltimore, I was born in Baltimore, Jack. I was born in Baltimore. You weren't. So I knew what he was. He was a lying SOB, and that's what he still is. That's what he still is. So now everybody's finding out what Sean Sims said in the beginning when that race was going on. I was dead pinpoint Kenny Stabler accurate. That's how I'm going to leave it.
You seemingly got good connection and a good vision. Could you please pass the word to the Baltimore Orioles that I am available if they need me?
You couldn't do any worse than their pitching staff last night.
I can't do no worse than what they're doing.
Wow, what a clobbering! But on that note, we're gonna roll out. But here we go, Carlton Douglas. I started with it, and I'm going to end with it, brother. Then I'm going to end with it with you. I don't care with your whining and your crying all you want. I've known you a long time, Jack. You get on the radio and act like you didn't know who I was. What you think you're doing, man? What you need to do is Friday on May the 2nd, you better not stop people from calling in like you did last week, clown. You clown ass. You stop people from calling in to talk about a subject matter doing open mic because you scared? Because you're scared. You're scared. And that's why you changed your daggone voicemail to have a messenger pick up when I called you. So that's what we're going to do. So that's what's going to happen. That is what's going to happen. There's going to be an interview. We're going to see what's going to happen in the interview. If you're going to protect this boy, he's nothing like his grandfather. He's a disgrace. He's disgusting. And I'm not even going to talk about other things I know about this kid. He's a disgrace. Now let's see how you handle the interview. And talk about that during your program. Put that in your pipe. Stick it in there real tight, Colton. Real tight, and smoke it. I'm Sean Sims, host of the Outsiders podcast. Doc Cheatham, superstar Doc Cheatham, and myself doing it only as we can do it, calling it like it is. Baltimore, God bless. And how can I say this? Take care.